Moving on now, the New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet joined police, SES and rural fire service crews in Western Sydney to announce an extra $200 million to bolster the state's emergency flood response. Kenny Heatley is there at the Penrith Whitewater Stadium, where there's also been a demonstration. Can you talk us through what's been happening there this morning?
Yes, Ash, well, this is likely to be the final major funding announcement by the Premier before the end of the year here in Penrith in Western Sydney. Of course, floods have been an absolutely massive issue in the state. They're announcing $200 million extra going towards the state's flood response, including $160 million of that towards buying more high-clearance vehicles and flood response vehicles, similar to the ones that you can see behind me. And also 2,350 volunteers will be trained specifically in flood response measures, but also almost $12 million for basic training towards what they call a citizens' army. Here's a little bit more of what the Premier had to say on that.
Up in the Northern Rivers, that there were many members of the community that would have liked to have had the opportunity to just do some basic training. And so when a major event occurs, if the SES, when a major event occurs, they've got the training, they might own a tinnie, they can go out and help with rescues. They were doing that anyway, but it was very clear to me that they believed that just being able to access some basic training would have assisted. So we'll run that through the SES, the $12 million will help.
And Kenny, I see the opposition leader Chris Minns has written to the Premier. He's calling on him to recall Parliament before the Christmas break. Was the Premier up for that?
Not really. So the opposition leader Chris Minns was on Sydney radio this morning saying that he's written to the Premier. He's not happy that the state parliament is not expected to sit again until after the March election. So on the other side of this year, we've got the campaign, but Chris Minns wants Parliament recalled on Friday. The federal parliament in Canberra sits on Thursday discussing energy. Well, he wants to pass complementary legislation on energy on Friday, and he also says there's more work to be done about the rental crisis in New South Wales, which could be done on Friday as well towards the end of the year. He says that many people are working up towards a Christmas break, and we should too. Here's what the Premier had to say in response to that.
We will recall the Parliament, as I've said, at the appropriate time. We've signed up to a national agreement in relation to energy, and I thank the constructive dialogue and the discussions we had with the Prime Minister, and ultimately from my position it was all about making sure we had financial support to put downward pressure on household bills across our state.
Well, we put that to the opposition leader Chris Minns. Here's what he had to say in response.
It is disappointing because if this is, as he has clearly enunciated, a crisis, and we believe him in the energy crisis, there's absolutely no reason why we can't do more work when the Parliament is sitting. We believe it should sit on Friday. Federal Parliament is due to sit on Thursday, so it makes sense that we would wrap this up and have the arrangements in place before Christmas.
Now, Ash, part of the reason why Parliament is not sitting for so long is because the building on Macquarie Street is going through refurbishment at the moment. They're ripping up the seats. They say they're improving disability access and things like that. But you would probably say it's interesting timing considering there is a March election coming up.
Kenny, appreciate the update. Thank you.